The US is starting to lose their standing in the region, so who will they turn to for support? US soldiers stationed in the Middle East have consistently been attacked by the resistance forces, resulting in over 170 attacks on US military bases and assets since the 7th of October. The attacks have mainly taken place in Iraq and Syria, but have also included Jordan, as the Tower 22 US base that the Pentagon claims is a logistics base was attacked. What was not mentioned is the fact that the Tower 22 is a secret drone base, from conducting long-range reconnaissance in Syria and Iraq for airstrikes to serving as a staging facility for special operations in the region, showing once again the true purpose of US military in the area is never what they claim it to be. At a time when the US still continues to support the apartheid state, even recently approving $20 billion in weapon sales, the reputation and international standing of the United States has been on the decline. With the Iranian retaliation expected to come soon after the Israeli assassination of Hamas's political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, the US military moved its military assets in the region in order to defend Israel. Ismail Haniyeh was a key figure in the negotiations for a ceasefire, and this assassination on Iran's sovereign territory makes it nearly impossible for the retaliation not to expect. In response to this expected retaliation, the US has sent an immense amount of military forces in the region, from the USS Wasp docking at Limassol port, a submarine being spotted in Cypriot waters, to Osprey helicopters conducting surveillance flights around the island. The Republic of Cyprus has denied any claims to be involved in any military operations in the area, despite conflicting reports appearing internationally involving the island defending Israel should the situation escalate. Witnesses have even reported that Gen Larnaca, the National Guard training camp used by Cypriot soldiers, has not accepted any soldiers this year as the facilities are being used by US military. The Republic of Cyprus claims that the military presence on the island only has to do with humanitarian aid, when Cyprus has been gradually increasing its military relations with the US since the arms embargo on Cyprus was partially lifted, but this requires annual US congressional approval. The Cypriot government aims to fully lift the ban without needing congressional consent with a strategic dialogue agreement in hopes to promote US-Cyprus collaboration in various sectors, parts of which include security and energy. President Nikos Christodoulides has gradually pushed for increased cooperation with the US. This has become even more evident since October 7, as the Cypriot government has set up the humanitarian aid corridor, which the US took advantage of to apply less pressure on Israel to use the land crossings already available at that time. The operation of the US here between May and July that was supposed to be coordinating the Amalthea humanitarian corridor actually resulted in less food being distributed into Gaza, as shown on the official Israeli government website. Following the failure of the pier, the aid shipments continued from Larnaca to Ashdod, Israel, with no significant change in the amount of aid reaching the Palestinian people. Recently, government spokesman Konstantinos Lemniakis was on Fox News to stress the dangers of the threat made by Turkey to Israel.
Here that we think that the international community cannot ignore or disregard threats.
There was no mention of the dangers that the state of Israel's action has done to destabilize the region, and only the threat of Turkey was discussed.
Respect for international law is fundamental, and it goes without saying that all of us should be strongly committed to it.
The government does not seem to mind collaborating with nations such as Israel that has also been breaking international law for years now, which is even more evident after the ICJ ruling. The interview highlighted the president's ongoing efforts in pursuing negotiations on the Cyprus problem.
At a time when the government of the Republic of Cyprus, President Christodoulides himself are making intensive efforts to resume negotiations, and while we await for the United Nations Secretary General's decisions on the next steps, they decide to continue with this narrative.
However, there has been growing criticism about how committed Christodoulides is to making real progress. This skepticism intensified after he announced at the gathering in Derinia that he would attend a meeting with the UN Secretary General and Ersin Tatar in New York on August 13, a meeting that was neither agreed upon nor had any date set, resulting in increased tension between both sides as the president tried to play the media game. As Cyprus slowly increases its relations with both Israel, currently committing genocide against the Palestinians, and the US, currently funding that genocide, how long can Cyprus pretend to remain neutral in the region? Both Israel and the US are desperate allies as they continue to lose their ground internationally. So will they turn to Cyprus to support their colonial regime even further?